Let me say something that nobody in football is brave enough to say out loud. Lionel Messi is a problem. Not for Argentina, not for his club, not for his teammates, for the entire World Cup 2026. Because when one player is so far above every other player on the planet, when one man can single-handedly decide the outcome of a match that two nations have spent 4 years preparing for, the tournament itself has a problem, and that problem has a name. Lionel Andres Messi, the greatest footballer who ever lived, is at his final World Cup, and he is not here to say goodbye. He is here to win. To understand the Messi problem, you first need to understand what this World Cup means to him. Qatar 2022 was supposed to be the perfect ending, the greatest player of all time, the one trophy that had eluded him for his entire career. And in the most dramatic, most extraordinary World Cup final in the history of the sport, he got it. Most players would stop there. Most players would call it complete. Messi is not most players, because here he is, in 2026, at an age when most footballers are retired, coaching, or doing television commercials, still playing, still performing, still, and this is the part that defies all logic, still improving in the moments that matter most. The performance against Iceland was not the performance of a player winding down. It was the performance of a player with something left to prove. And when Lionel Messi has something left to prove, the rest of the world should be genuinely afraid. This is his last World Cup. He knows it, Argentina know it, and every single opponent they face knows it too. That knowledge that this is the final chapter of the greatest story football has ever told changes everything. It changes how Messi plays. It changes how Argentina set up around him, and it changes how every opposing coach in this tournament has to prepare. That is the problem. And it is enormous. Let us talk about what Messi actually does at World Cup, because the narrative around him is always emotional, always about legacy and greatness and destiny. But the numbers are even more frightening than the narrative. Messi has played in 5 World Cups. 5. That alone puts him in a category shared by almost nobody in the history of the sport. Across those 5 tournaments, the goals, the assists, the moments of individual brilliance that changed the outcome of matches. The data tells the story of a player who consistently raises his level when the stakes are at their absolute highest. And here is the specific number that should terrify every team at World Cup 2026. In knockout matches, not group stage, knockout matches where everything is on the line and there is no tomorrow, Messi's involvement in goals for Argentina is unlike anything any other player in the modern era has produced. He does not disappear in big games, he arrives in big games. Every coach at this tournament has a Messi plan, a tactical setup specifically designed to limit his influence and neutralise his threat. Here is the problem with every single one of those plans. None of them have worked consistently. Not at club level, not at international level, and certainly not at World Cups. You can plan for Messi all you want, and then the match starts, and he does something that was not in any plan, on any tactical board, in any dressing room on earth. That is the Messi problem in its purest form. You cannot prepare for genius.
Messi wants it again. Lloris in the way. Was it off the line or over the line?
Over the years, at club level and at international level, coaches have tried everything to stop Lionel Messi. Man marking, shadow marking, zonal systems designed to cut off his receiving positions, high pressing to prevent him getting the ball in dangerous areas, low blocks to reduce the space behind the defensive line. Every single approach has produced the same result at one point or another. A Messi goal, a Messi assist, a Messi moment that ended careers, destroyed game plans, and sent entire nations to bed unable to sleep. The most sophisticated tactical approach to stopping Messi came at the 2022 World Cup, and even then, in the final, against a France side with arguably the best individual players in the world. Messi was the difference. So what do? Some coaches go man for man, assign their best defensive midfielder to follow Messi everywhere. The problem: Messi knows he is being followed, and he uses that to create space for everyone around him. Argentina's other attackers suddenly have more room. The medicine becomes the poison. Some coaches drop into a low block and dare Argentina to break them down. The problem? Messi in tight spaces against a low block is arguably more dangerous than Messi in open space. He finds angles that do not exist. He plays passes that should be physically impossible, and when Argentina are patient, which under Scaloni they always are, the low block eventually breaks. There is no clean answer. There is no tactical solution that neutralises Messi completely. And at a World Cup where one moment of magic can end your entire tournament, that is a terrifying reality for 47 nations. Grand, but here is what makes the Messi problem even bigger than Messi himself. Scaloni has built an Argentina team that is not dependent on Messi, and that makes Messi even more dangerous. Read that again. Because it is the most important tactical point about Argentina at this World Cup. When a team is built entirely around one player, when everything flows through one man, the opposition can plan for it. They know where the threat is coming from, they can overload that area, they can cut the supply line, but Scaloni's Argentina are a genuine team. A defensively organised, tactically disciplined, collectively brilliant team that also happens to have the greatest player of all time in it. The midfield works without Messi. The defensive structure functions without Messi. Argentina can be in a match, competitive and dangerous, even on a day when Messi is quiet, and then Messi has one moment, one touch, one decision that nobody anticipated, and the match is over. That is the system. That is the genius of it. Make Argentina hard to beat first, and let Messi be the difference second, not the foundation. The finishing touch. Every team at this World Cup has to defend against Argentina as a unit, and then deal with Messi on top of that. That is two problems in one, and most teams can only solve one problem at a time. 6 sprangs. Now let us talk about something that the tactical analysis cannot fully capture, the emotion of this moment. Lionel Messi is at his final World Cup. Every person watching, whether they support Argentina or not, knows they are watching the last chapter of the greatest career in the history of association football. That creates something in a stadium that is almost impossible to describe. A collective acknowledgement, a shared understanding that what we are witnessing will never be seen again. That when this tournament ends, this version of football, the version that has Messi at its centre, ends with it, and Messi feels it. You can see it in the way he plays. The urgency, the hunger, the moments where he does something extraordinary and then looks around, not to celebrate, but to check, to make sure the moment was real, to confirm that it happened. This is not a player in decline finding one last moment in the spotlight. This is a player who has never been more motivated, more focused, or more determined than he is right now, and opponents feel that too. There is a psychological weight to facing Messi at his final World Cup that goes beyond tactics, beyond preparation, beyond game plans and systems and analytical reports. You are standing on a pitch, trying to stop a man who the entire world is willing to win, a man who already has the trophy you are trying to take from him, a man who has nothing to lose and everything to add to a legacy that is already eternal. That is not a football problem, that is a human problem, and it is the biggest problem at World Cup 2026. So, if Messi cannot be stopped tactically, and the emotional weight works in his favour, is there any team at this World Cup that genuinely has a chance of ending Argentina's campaign? Yes, but the list is short. France, because France have the individual quality to match Argentina player for player. And Mbappe, one of only 2 or 3 players in world football who operates at a remotely similar level to Messi's. They have someone who can shift the psychological balance of a match. An Argentina versus France final in 2026 would be the most watched football match in the history of the sport. Spain, because Spain do not try to stop one player, they stop teams. The positional system Scaloni uses could be tested like never before by Spain's ability to dominate possession and suffocate entire squads. If Spain have the ball, Messi does not. And that is the closest thing to a Messi solution that exists. Brazil, because the mental history between these two nations adds a layer to every Argentina versus Brazil match that goes beyond football. In a tournament on a neutral pitch, with everything on the line, Brazil versus Argentina is the one fixture where the emotional weight shifts, where Argentina carry their own pressure, where Messi has historically had to work harder than in any other match. 3 teams, 3 genuine hopes of ending the Messi problem at World Cup 2026. Every other nation, we are sorry, your tactics are good, your players are good. Your preparation is thorough and professional and everything it should be. It will not be enough. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. We post every single day of World Cup 2026. Here is where we land. Lionel Messi is not just the best player at World Cup 2026. He is the defining force of this entire tournament. The story around him, the final chapter, the last dance, the one more moment of history, is bigger than any match, any result or any other narrative this World Cup will produce. And the problem, the serious, enormous, beautiful problem, is that he is good enough to back it up. 48 teams competed for the right to be here. Every single one of them prepared for Messi. Every single coach has a plan. Every single defensive midfielder has been briefed, drilled, and told exactly what to do when Messi gets the ball. And Lionel Messi will get the ball, and he will do something none of them planned for. And the World Cup 2026 will be his. That is not a prediction. That is not a hot take. That is what happens when the greatest player who ever lived plays his final tournament with everything left to prove. The World Cup has a Messi problem, and the World Cup is lucky to have it. That was our full breakdown of the World Cup 2026 Messi problem and why no team at this tournament has a clean answer for the greatest player who ever lived. If this video made you think, like it. If you want this level of analysis every single day of World Cup 2026, subscribe now and drop your answer in the comments right now. Can anyone stop Messi at World Cup 2026? One team, one answer, no sitting on the fence, no hype, no bias, just football. We will see you in the next one.